From San Diego, California, this is the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans, by the fans. With Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, Jason Eidsmoe, and Mike Maciejewski, we're talking Chargers, Padres, and Aztec sports. It's time to let your voice be heard. Hey, what's up there, San Diego sports freaks? This is San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans.
By the fans.
It's great to be back in the saddle. We got a great show lined up for you guys today. We're going to be talking about all that bullshit that went down in the All-Star game. Going to be breaking down some trade deadline rumors. Mike, you wrote a great article about how to fix the Padres, so hopefully you guys can interact in the chat room and give your 2 cents on that because... Go ahead.
And if anyone can send that over to the front office for the Padres.
Yeah, let
them know I'm available.
Right,
at
Ron
the right
Fowler,
price.
are you there? Ron Fowler.
Exactly. Brandon Flowers says he's the best corner in the NFL and got a tattoo to prove it.
Wow, that's swag.
We'll break that down a little bit for you. And training camp is really a week away from tomorrow, so we're going to be breaking down a little bit of that as well. Got some Twitter questions, so we got a great show lined up for you. And we'll be right back with you, and we'll talk some All-Star Game baseball and the lack of Padres representation.
Yeah, what's going on with that anyways, man? That's bullshit.
We'll talk about it in just a minute. Jason, get your panties in a bunch.
There you go.
You think you're special, you do. I can see it in your eyes. I can see it when you laugh at me, look down on me, and walk around on me. Just one more fight.
What's up, you sports freaks of the West Coast? This is your fantasy corner of San Diego Sports Junkies. I'm your host, Steve-O, and I want to challenge you to win your fantasy football season this year. So tune in weekly, starting in August, for some preseason sleepers, draft day steals and busts, some new draft value on the usual suspects, and my personal mock draft strategy that's going to carry you through your season and leave your buddies crying in that draft room. So please, don't miss your chance to tune in weekly and add some of your fantasy football smack talk to your corner of San Diego Sports Junkies.com/fantasy. Get some.
You can't get me down. There's nothing like a clear peace of mind to overcome the hardships in life. Just sort out the wrong from the right. Someone's in line, but they can't get me down. Got my own self by my side.
Do you need help with your business project that is due? Maybe you need business cards to help your business stand out. We at San Diego Sports Junkies got you covered. SK Digital Imaging can do it all. Give our buddy Sean K a call, 858-408-0732. SK Digital Imaging, from business cards to the bigger projects, SK Digital Imaging and our buddy Sean K will get your printing done right. All right, guys, we are back. We're going to be talking some All-Star game. Honestly, in my opinion, I thought the game was actually pretty good from beginning to end. I thought there was a lot of good stuff that happened, but for the third straight year, a Padre did not play in the game.
Right, and that's concerning for us.
Extreme.
Well, I mean,
that's an understatement.
I actually, like you said, I enjoyed the game. It was one of the more entertaining All-Star games I've seen in a while. It wasn't a blowout either way, or it wasn't full of just just not a lot of glitz and glamour. I thought the appeal of Mike Trout was very interesting. I love to see this kid play.
Saw another reason why I wish he had a Padres uniform.
Exactly.
On.
I wish he was on the other California team, or Southern California team, I should say. There was a lot of intrigues here. The Derek Jeter thing did intrigue me. I think they took it a little overboard, I guess. I think they mentioned Jeter's name 50 billion times.
The thing about Derek Jeter that I get it. It is quite an accomplishment for one player to have a Hall of Fame career and stay with the same team. A lot like what Tony Gwynn did,
right.
And that's one of the reasons why his career was so impressive. That's a little bit easier to do when you play for the Yankees,
yes.
though, because nobody's going to ever outbid you.
Right.
Tony Gwynn actually had to take a discount to stay with the Padres.
It was genuine.
He could have gone anywhere he wanted to. Maybe not anywhere he wanted to, but he certainly could have gone to
the
the Yankees
options.
Or the
Redskins,
Sox,
yes.
Or the Redskins even.
With Joe Theismann.
Exactly. But Derek Jeter, it is still an accomplishment to have that long of a career in the same place, but they sure did a whole lot for him, and there seemed to be a person that didn't get mentioned there, and it kind of bummed me out a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't watch the game personally myself because, first of all, I'm uncomfortable with fellatio, and that's what Fox was doing, was getting down there and
nice.
blowing
Wow.
Jeter hard.
You felt like you were in...
I was like, none of my home, there's children around.
You felt like you were in Hillcrest on a Saturday night,
Yeah, I
huh?
was like,
All right.
no for me. But
Okay.
no, I mean, I'm glad I didn't see it. I'd probably been a lot more upset. I was upset just hearing that Tony wasn't mentioned.
Right.
And I've always felt personally that Derek Jeter's overrated in the fact that he's in that market. If he was in another market, he wouldn't get as much notoriety.
The treatment would have been. But if let's put it this way. Here, let's do this. If say he's on the Phillies for 20 years or whatever, how many years he's been in the league. Does he get the same kind of feel? Yes, because it's Philly fans. I don't know if it's as big as the Yankees, but Philly's a great sports town, right?
Put him on the Astros and tell me if he's like
exactly, boom.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying. The Marlins. Tell me if he in Miami he's going to get that kind of pub. No, he's not.
Right.
If he's in San Diego, he would probably not get that much pub.
Right.
So I'm just.
I don't want to take anything away from him. He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
He's a great player.
He's going to be a Hall of Famer by all standards. But I want to touch on what Mikey talked about, and that's the fact that
just don't touch him because he's got the fellatio thing.
Yeah.
They made no tribute whatsoever to Tony Gwynn, and San Diego media especially, and I think media kind of around the world, but San Diego media especially is blowing it up completely. I don't know if it's out of proportion. Supposedly, Fox stated that they did air a video during the pregame on Fox Sports 1.
What is that?
But I think people were looking for...
Is that online?
Can
I find that online?
Is that like ESPN on the go?
Right.
When you watch your mobile app?
Yeah.
I mean, who really saw that?
But I think that's why everybody is complaining is not the fact that Fox Sports 1 tried to do something, but they didn't air it on prime time during the All-Star game. They didn't take a so-called pause in the action to stop talking about Jeter and pay respects to Tony
Just
Gwynn.
a mention would have been nice. A mention.
Something.
I don't think they had to, put aside a 15-minute segment for him or any of that stuff. Just
about
a little mention would have been
19
nice.
seconds of silence before the game.
Anything.
Well,
just
you know what I mean?
supposedly somebody tweeted out that after they went to commercial in the 7th inning, after they sang "God Bless America," they gave a second of silence to Tony Gwynn. After they went to commercial. But again, another reason why people are complaining that people want to see that. They want to see him pay respects.
Yeah.
The other thing that people are upset about is the Padres formally invited Bud Selig to come to the stadium and be part of the festivities here at Petco, and Bud Selig never showed up for Tony Gwynn's tribute.
Right. He had a bar mitzvah or something.
And just really quick here in the chat room, Darren says it's time to get over Tony Gwynn, boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, Darren.
He's an outsider.
Sorry, Darren. I'm a sentimental guy. It's my boy.
The thing is, and maybe it makes us a little bit. I don't want to say it makes us hate on Derek Jeter a little more. It's just the fact that Gwynn was completely skipped in our minds, and us as San Diego fans, we have a little bit of a chip about that because it seems like we're forgotten because we're West Coast. And
we are
kind of a small market.
It's not. Doesn't seem.
It just kind of adds to that a little bit, and maybe Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter did deserve what what they did. Maybe that's the case. It just bothered me so much that Tony Gwynn was just overlooked.
No, and it's not that Derek Jeter wasn't a good player. We said that. If Derek Jeter looked at Tony Gwynn's stats, he would cry and go, "Man, I wish I could."
Yeah, but a lot of people.
But that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and that's the kind of player Tony Gwynn was, and not to be mentioned after a month of passing away. That's just mind-blowing to a lot of people, and I think that's what we can't wrap our heads around.
And,
I think the other thing that people are upset about is it started with the fact that Bud Selig didn't show up.
Yeah.
It
feels like a slight.
At Petco Park for the tribute.
Right.
And took it a step further. He's the big head honcho with Major League Baseball, and them or Fox didn't do anything on primetime All-Star Game. First chance he could make up for that, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, and I like what you said, Jason. I think, poor Derek Jeter, he's had a tough life. We need to go.
Supermodel. Money,
poor guy.
fame.
You know what I thought was funny is when they're interviewing him, they're talking about what a great job he's done of staying out of trouble. I'm thinking, why is that such an accomplishment to keep himself out of trouble?
To call a cab when you drink? Man, it takes so much responsibility.
Fuck.
Also, again, Darren in the chat room, thanks, Darren, for participating today. If you want to sign up for the chat room, click on the live link, which you're already here.
Right.
Sign up for the chat room for Spreaker up top. And he said Tony had it at his last All-Star Game too. And he just became sacrilegious.
He just went there.
He's just messing around now.
Jeter will go down as a better player, in my opinion.
Oh, please.
Yeah, well, you know where those comments can go.
All right.
Wow.
All right, well.
Thanks,
You
Darren.
win. You got it. It worked. You got a reaction.
Yeah.
Everybody at the table is giving that snarling glare.
It only took you 10 minutes, Darren. Congratulations.
Yeah, we just started the
Well
damn
done.
show.
So, no Padre playing in the All-Star Game. This is 3 years now. So, Houston Street in 2012, Cabrera last year, and then Houston Street again this year has not been represented in the All-Star Game. Heath Bell was the last person in 2011.
So our last All-Star we got to see run his goofy ass out from the outfield and slide into the pitcher's mound. That's our last maybe that's why the Padres aren't getting into the All-Star games anymore. Because they say last time we let you in, your goofy dumbass pitcher slid into the pitcher's mound.
Why do they deserve to play, though? I mean, Houston Street was the last guy voted in. He's got, and I was telling Josh today, this same thing. He's got 1 foot out the door. He's not going to be a Padre much longer. For me, it would be unfulfilling to go see Houston Street out there in a Padre uniform when I know in 2 or 3 days from now he's going to be dealt for two players to be named later and some cash considerations. It's just like whatever. Last guy in. Tyson Ross can't pitch. Who cares? We don't have a legitimate all-star on our team.
That's not true. That's not true.
Houston Street is a legitimate all-star.
That's the thing. I understand they have this rule where every team has to have an all-star, so you get guys that really shouldn't be there, and I understand they have to hold guys back.
Right.
Those are the guys you should hold back. So maybe Cabrera should have been held back last year. Maybe even Houston Street the year before. Mm-hmm. But this year, Houston Street was a legit all-star. He should not. Nishak, for crying out loud, something that I actually noticed myself and then was also brought to my attention today.
Neshek.
Did you notice that all the runs were given up by the same team, the Cardinals pitchers?
Wow.
Surprising.
He gets in the game and gives up a couple runs. Houston Street should have been in there before him.
And supposedly, so you got the first 2 pitchers are generally starters, and then after that, it's pretty much closer. These guys are supposed to nail it down, and Houston Street can nail it down with the best of them. Yeah. Why doesn't he get an opportunity? That's what I'm frustrated with. And I don't know. I kind of agree with your saying just because they're an all-star doesn't mean they get a play, but I think that's the whole thing about being an all-star. It's not just showing up and sitting on the bench. You want to get out there and play.
Houston Street did his time already 2 years ago when he made the all-star team, and he took one and said, I'll be the one that you hold back. You got to hold back somebody in case it goes to extra innings.
Definitely.
He's already done that. He deserved to play. He's arguably the best closer in the National League, if not the best.
I agree,
one
and I
of the
agree
best
with you.
too.
But did it have that feeling of when Adrian was here, he was a legitimate, bona fide superstar all-star?
Yes, it did.
Okay, that felt great, right? Now go to fast forward to Houston Street. Did it feel like he backed his way into the All-Star game? Because he did. He was the last guy on the team.
Shouldn't have been, though.
I know that. I think his stats represent an All-Star type of year, and I don't disagree with that. But it didn't feel like an All-Star type of feel for the San Diego Padres and Houston Street.
If the Padres had Seth Smith as an All-Star because they had to send somebody,
well, that would have been better. At least he got the
I would have been fine with them holding him back. Say, well, he was the guy that we had to send. This year we had to.
You got a point.
As shitty as the Padres are doing and as awful as they're doing, one half of the team is playing first place baseball, championship baseball. The other half is not. It's like your offense scoring
AAA
54
baseball.
points a game and your defense giving up 56.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
We have a playoff caliber pitching staff.
Of course.
There's no reason why they did not deserve that. You could say that not just because the team is sucking.
No, you can
overall.
Yeah, and
Houston Street deserved to be on that All-Star team. He deserved to pitch.
But you could have argued Ian Kennedy could have been an All-Star this year. You could have argued Tyson.
Right. Well, there's only so much room.
And he was selected. So I'm just saying, yes, you're right, but it didn't feel like an All-Star caliber feel to it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to get at.
And I think I also think just it's bad that he didn't get to play, but you're gonna have to as the Padres, they're gonna have to overcome this. They're on the West Coast. There's East Coast bias, because people don't get to see us play.
I'm so tired of that, though.
I know, but
I am.
Such a poor excuse.
It's so worn out. Just play better baseball, and then people will notice it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Though I'm so sick of everybody going, well, it's East Coast. But I know. I used to say that all the time.
You
I'm
have
sick
an East Coast ESPN, so they get to watch us
so
all day long.
That's getting so tired that it's
still true, though.
It is very true.
But you have to overcome that. The Padres have to
like I
overcome
said,
that by winning.
overcome it.
Yeah, and so not having Streets, okay, people are like, all right, whatever. He's from the Padres, doesn't matter. But it would have been nice, like Darren said, this is our playoff game.
Exactly.
It's our chance to see our guys in a playoff atmosphere. And I think that's actually, I'm glad he brought that up because that reminds me what I felt trying to explain to my girlfriend last night, where she's like, "It's not a big deal. They did the whole thing for Tony Gwynn last month or whatever." Yeah, but this is your one chance on a national stage to recognize
not
him.
local, national.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So that's why I think when he brought that up, I was like, yes. And
this is the one time a year that everybody is watching, and we did not get to see our players play.
Right.
Again.
So let's move on a little bit. It's still going to stay on the topic of Houston Street, but it's on the comments that he made that was posted up by the LA Times. Obviously he's a commodity. Their phones are probably ringing off the hook. It's the trade deadline's on the 31st of July. Houston Street's a huge commodity. He goes, before the All-Star game, he was questioned, and it was posted in the LA Times, calling Mike Scioscia. He said that's one of the best managers maybe of all time, and if I went there, I'd have a real chance to win. Does this or does this not? Does this comment or does it not bother you?
It bothers me a little bit. I mean, just think about it. A couple weeks ago, he was pretty gung-ho that he didn't want to leave. He didn't want to go. I think he knows the writing's on the wall that he's going to go, so I think he's trying to position himself to where he'll go, and that's with the Angels. I mean, it bothers me a little bit, but I mean, the reality is I don't want to see him go. If you read my article, I don't want him to go. I have other choices I'd like to go, but I'd like for him to say, I want to stay here.
Go ahead.
I agree, but at the same time, I understand. How there's got to be nothing more frustrating than being pitcher on the Padres this year.
Yeah, are those words backed up with a little conviction? Like, hey, man, this really sucks here.
Yeah,
or
and he wants to. He knows he's on the trading block. He knows there's a chance to get traded. Why not kind of lay some groundwork for a place you might want to go, a place that you look and say, you know what, that's the team that I think I would fit in best with. That's the team that I think that we could win the World Series with. Why not talk up that team a little bit?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem.
See,
with
maybe
that.
it tips his hand of what the Padres have already discussed with him.
I don't think the Padres are going to unless he has no trade and he has to waive it. They're not going to discuss with him. Where would you like to go?
See,
They're
I'm
going
on
to
that.
take what they can get.
I'm on that fence where I don't want to see any of the pitchers go. I think, like you said earlier, we have a championship team here. Obviously, it's
pitching staff-wise.
It's an inevitable when you're losing ball games by 1 run, 2 run, 3 run, 1 run. It gets old, and I'm sure the pitchers obviously feel that pain. But to kind of keep the mantra together and say, look, guys, I mean, we're really going to make a push next season if we don't do it this year to get some bats for you guys and really plead with these guys and say, hey, we're behind you guys. Just stick this out 1 year, and if we don't have to trade you, we won't. We want you to be a Padre.
Right.
That would be the ultimate as a fan because we know as true fans how good the pitching staff has been this year. And gosh darn, if we were just hitting 230, 240,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like somewhere in there, we would be a championship level caliber race type team. I swear to God. I mean, we've seen the numbers. So yeah, I would hate for them to break up the the Army here, it would suck a lot. But, if we can get value back for Houston like we talked about, then you know what? If it's good for the future and we get a bat, then I'll take a bat.
A legit. It's not going to be. It's not going to be a major league bat. No, it's not. Nobody.
Might be a AAA bat.
I was talking to somebody earlier today. Any team that's in the race is not going to give up one of their bats.
And we talked about that 2 weeks
ago.
Why
would they?
Yeah. No, it's going to be prospects.
It's going to be a prospect, but give us a hitting prospect that is a legit hitting prospect, not a guy that's struggling.
Right.
Not a guy that
buck 52.
You mean like Rizzo, who we traded away?
Well, we gave up on him too early. Unfortunately, we give up. I don't know. We gave up on him too early. I think we've fallen in love too much with good pitching, and it shows. Look at how good our pitching staff is,
which is great.
Yeah,
they've never shied away from that since the ballpark opened, though. That's been their philosophy going in: pitching, pitching, and they've never once focused on hitting. And that's where it gets old as a fan.
So, kind of back to the All-Star game in general. Like I said, the last 3 years running, we have not had a Padre that's represented us physically on the field. Is San Diego the black sheep of Major League Baseball?
I don't know.
It just seems we get no love. And granted, obviously if we start winning, that's going to change. But it gives you that feeling as a fan that it's like, Padres, who cares? They suck. Why is their player going to be on the field?
You start to get a little bit of a persecution complex. I'm not quite sure black sheep is right. There's a few things you can look at. We haven't had an all-star that has made it into the game. Another great question is, why the fuck haven't we had an all-star game in San Diego?
Yeah. Yes,
that's the big one.
There's got to be more behind-the-scenes reasons why, but why the fuck haven't we?
I think a lot of it, and I tweeted this out earlier today. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that our previous ownership just didn't care. I had no care in the world. I mean, he was going through a divorce, and he could really care less about what was going on with the team or with the city, for that matter.
And I think it's coming. I mean, you see Petco Park, and you're like, it's a beautiful place. Everybody always says how great of a stadium it is. It's got to be coming here. And I mentioned earlier in the day, I thought 5 years after it was built, we were going to get one in those 5 years.
Yeah.
And it never has happened. And so, sorry, it's funny things here in the chat room going on.
Guys, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, we're going to be talking some more Padres baseball, talking trade deadline. We're actually going to break down some of Mikey's article where he says he can fix the Padres.
Good
and
luck.
I'm going to throw some stats at you as far as previewing the season as it's been and what the remainder of the season is going to have to take place if we're going to
Better throw your hazard suit on there, Mikey. You're going to fix the Padres.
I'm ready, man.
Are you looking for a bar for your next sporting event? Come to Cali Comfort Sports Bar in the heart of Spring Valley, where they are passionate about sticking to the true barbecue traditions. Using their unique low and slow method, you are guaranteed great barbecue no matter what you order. From pulled pork to tri-tip, football to MMA, Cali Comfort is your one-stop shop for all your sports and barbecue needs. Find them online, CaliComfortSD.com.
What's up, you sports freaks of the West Coast? This is your Fantasy Corner of San Diego Sports Junkies. I'm your host, Steve-O, and I want to challenge you to win your fantasy football season this year. So tune in weekly, starting in August, for some preseason sleepers, draft day steals and busts, some new draft value on the usual suspects, and my personal mock draft strategy that's going to carry you through your season and leave your buddies crying in that draft room. So please, don't miss your chance to tune in weekly and add some of your fantasy football smack talk to your corner of San Diego Sports Junkies.com/fantasy. Get some.
You can't get me down. There's nothing like a clear peace of mind to overcome the hardships in life. Just sort out the wrong from the right. Someone's in life, but they can't get me
Maybe it's too far away, or maybe I'm just blind. Maybe blind. So hold me when I'm here, love me when I'm wrong, hold me when I'm scared, and love me when I'm gone. Everything I am.
Welcome back, Sports Junkies. So we're going to be talking some more Padres, talking the trade deadline. I know we mentioned it a little bit with Houston Street, but we're going to talk about some of the rumors, and we're going to look at my article, which I wrote yesterday, I believe it was, and pretty much it's my thesis, my application for the job as head general manager of the San Diego Padres. And if you haven't read it, it's on SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com. It's under the blogs. It's called Fixing the Padres. And a couple things I know you guys all read it, and you guys were thrilled and fascinated. You couldn't stop texting me about it, telling me kind of the genius that was in my mind. And you're like, Mike, I didn't know you knew that much about baseball. Well,
Have you been reading or what? What did you pick up a magazine, Sports Illustrated? What are you doing?
You actually did research?
I did. I actually. Wow. Yeah, I know.
You are the Kevin A.
You know what's really good about the article is whether people agree with it or disagree with it. At least you give some specific ideas. I was getting complaints from somebody saying, everybody says Padres need to get a bat. Padres need to get a this. Padres need to do this. At least you have some specific things. Now, whether or not these are doable or feasible, I'm getting a complaint right now that we're not playing any thrice.
Darren, chillax, buddy.
Maybe we'll work on that. But at least you have some specific ideas.
Right. And I'm just gonna go through some of them real quick, and I want to get you guys' thoughts because we really haven't talked about it, and I know there's some disagreement that I hear some rumbling coming from across.
That wasn't
the
rumbling.
table.
That was pure hatred and yelling.
Before you go into that, I put something together before the show on why the Padres are going to have to be sellers now.
Okay.
Why they are where they are.
Okay.
Which kind of rolls into what I was.
In July, do you know what their record is in July?
No.
No, we don't have the numbers in front of us. I looked up 5-7.
Okay.
All right. Here is what our starting pitchers have done in July. I'm going to give you the earned runs that our starting pitchers have left the game giving up. 1, 0, 0, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 0, and 1. Those are the starting pitch. That's just July.
So what you're saying is we should have won all of those games, maybe lost one of them.
We should be 10-2.
Right.
We
Yeah.
should be 10-2 or even 12-0.
And I think that's what Justin was going to talking about, that we don't want to blow up our pitching staff because we have a talented pitching staff. We just need to put some guys out in there that can hit.
What other team in all of
Hit their weight.
fucking baseball would be 5-7 with those 12 starting?
Mark this show explicit.
The Cardinals.
Yeah. No, they would. They'd be maybe 7-5.
They'd swap it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh,
Mike.
no problem.
No, those are
Those
mind-blowing
that's
stats.
crazy.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like I said, I've said since last week that definitely we're going to have to be sellers. And I took the beginning of the year, was it how much the salary we spent?
Yep.
Which was $95 million, I believe it was. And I went and I looked at those numbers. And the first guy on the list being paid the most on our team, Chase Headley.
Of course.
Okay, so he made at the beginning of the year he was getting paid $10 million for this season, 10.5. And so my thing is, you gotta trade him. I don't care what you get.
Come on, dude. Let's hold on to him. Another year. Come on, let's do this.
He's such a great hitter.
Well, the thing is, at the end of the year, he's a free agent
Yeah,
anyway.
so get something.
Take a bag of balls.
Yeah, exactly.
He's get it free. Take a bag of balls.
A bag of balls?
Take a 32-30 wood bat.
Attaboy.
Wow. Now you want a wood bat and balls.
You're,
oh, man.
Take them gloves, okay? We'll take them.
Your keyword there is free.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no.
Take
I mean,
him.
whatever you can get. I mean, just hopefully you get something. You know what? I don't care. Take a pitcher. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Anything.
Well, more importantly, get rid of his contract.
Exactly. Even though you're not paying
Right.
the whole $10 million anymore, you know, you're still have
principle.
5 of it. You still have 5 and get
Yeah.
something for him. You're not going to get anything for him.
Right.
I think this is the most the most controversial one that I've heard some people tell me about is keeping Carlos Quentin. And I don't roll your eyes at me, Justin.
Well, buy him a Segway so he can get around in left field
Because
because he needs something.
Yeah,
He
my
needs something.
My reasoning is I think, you just have to like tough it out. I mean, he's making 9.5. He's making 8 next year. You have to sell somebody on the fact that he is going to be healthy.
Right.
And
Get a car dealer in here. Let's get a guy that can sell some shit.
The longer I think about it, the more I actually agree with what you're saying on this.
And the way I look at it is this way. Right now, he can only go to the AL.
Right.
He's about a fit and maybe 5 teams, and only maybe 1 team will be interested. He's a fit on the Yankees, but they're not going to pay him. They're not bringing Carlos Quentin over. They just let Soriano go to the minors. So you have to wait till next year when there's a team that's going to go, oh, you know what? He fits on my team, and you get like 3 to 4 offers, and then you take whatever the best one is, whether it's crap. But at least you don't take that just the one offer you got. You're not having to unload him right away.
Exactly.
And he's at $8 million instead of the 9.5. So that's what I was thinking, Justin.
Well, I mean, I don't want Carlos Quentin around anymore. That's just me. I know what you're saying, and it's feasible for money and years. I get all that. Well, I don't get all that, but I'm getting it from you. I'm done with him, too. For me, I like your projected lineup, for maybe going in the future. It's okay. Pablo Sandoval, I see you have at third base, maybe a free agent acquisition. Rajay Davis, center fielder. He's very formidable, way better than Cameron Maybin would be. And Milky Cabrera provides pop, too. The problem is you're getting older, not younger, and the Padres are they're not. They can't be built for old people on their team. They have too many young guys. They got too much young pitching. I just don't. I don't see this.
Yeah.
I don't see it working out. Milky Cabrera is one of those guys that's still hanging on. I think he had that 1 year where he got popped and he was having a MVP caliber year. He got popped, couldn't play the rest of the year for the Giants. I just.
But I think where Mike's going is we don't have a whole lot of money to spend.
Yeah.
And you do need to have a good mix of veterans with your younger.
We need to stop waiting
players.
for these young guys to come around. We need to get some older guys that can do something.
Right.
So let me just kind of look at the chat room and kind of just talk about some trade rumors I've heard while doing the research for this. Obviously, Houston Street. The main 2 teams looking at him are the Tigers and the Angels. All right. Darren saying that would be he's not going to bring in a game-changing prospect here in the chat room. He said
Quentin. Quentin or Street?
Street. And the one thing I did see that was kind of interesting was that the Angels are actually interested in Street and Kennedy.
But by game-changing, what do you mean? Like a guy from AAA? Because that would be game-changing.
Yeah, a guy that's like a top
Sorry
top
for
tier.
being a smartass there, but I mean, come on.
No. A top tier
Game-changing to the
prospect,
Padre fans are like a guy hitting 304 in minor leagues.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome because we don't have anything like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We don't have anything above
That's
250.
game-changing right there.
Except for Seth Smith.
Like I said, the only thing is I did hear that the Angels are looking at Kennedy and Street.
I would not give up Kennedy.
I mean,
Maybe Street if you keep Benoit, but I would not give up Kennedy.
If the Angels think they're getting Kennedy and Street, they better give up
Trout.
There's going to be a that's retarded. But
thank you, Justin.
Maybe
that is retarded.
That is retarded. I wish in my wildest dreams.
Right?
Maybe, but 2 pitchers of that caliber playing the way they are right now would easily command two AAA guys that are right on the verge and just killing it in AAA.
Not 2.
Well,
One.
and then a bona fide guy in your lineup right now that
Not
you
gonna-
can
no.
part with.
That's
and
not
I
gonna
don't see
happen.
that happening.
As
You got to give me something.
I'll tell you what. Ian Kennedy is actually one of my favorite pitchers on the roster. I just
Absolutely.
really like
He's
the way
dealing
he's
this year.
pitching, the way he's battling.
He
And
like
it's-
others are not getting
we
support.
have to
And at $6.1 million, it's a pretty good bargain.
We have to stop holding
Seriously.
on to all these pitchers, though, because what good are they doing? I went down. I mean, they're pitching great, and it's not getting us any wins.
No.
We have to let some of them go and get some bat prospects.
And he's in the last year of his contract. He's arbitration eligible for one last year, I think. So he's going to cost you more than $6.1 million next year because that's what he got out of arbitration. He avoided arbitration
Free
this
and
year.
Kennedy?
Free and
Well,
Kennedy.
then if he continues on his path, he deserves the money. With Darren Balsley as his pitching. The way he is pitching right now, to me, is an all-star caliber pitcher, and he's just going to get better and better.
Sign him to a contract now
I
before
swear, you sign him to a 3-year deal and you lock him up. If you want to build your future, or in this Padre team, you got to lock him up.
And Darren's a very smart man here in the chat room. He agrees with me. Get rid of Kennedy. Because we do have a lot of pitching.
Yeah.
We do have a
Darren,
lot
you're
of
really Einsteining it up in the chat room.
pitching. He is, man. Don't talk bad about Darren. He's a smart man.
Yeah, I'm not talking bad about it. I said he's Einstein.
I sense the sarcasm.
Yeah. No.
But no, I mean, you have to give up. You want to get good players, you're going to have to give up these
You're
guys.
gonna have to give
we
up.
can't just give up trash and then expect to get something out of it. I
Right.
mean, if you can package those two, the only thing is the Angels don't have the prospects. I mean, they do, and they're hard to get rid of them. But, I mean, if you put those two together, you are going to get that top-tier prospect, which can be in the heart of your lineup. Like
you can
Darren was
find
mentioning.
a desperate team who's just right on the edge that just needs something there. They're going to make the playoffs they want, and they'll give something up. They will.
The thing is, and I think Darren even commented on it last week in the chat room, is there's no Major League Baseball ready prospects right now. There's no one out there. So
Cubs have a few.
we're gonna have a guy that we're gonna get for Kennedy and Street, who's it's going to put a dent into our pitching rotation and pitching staff in general. And we're going to get a guy that's going to be 2 to 3 years away.
Not really.
Well, you say that, but are you reluctant to say that? Because are you sold on Hahn already, and are you sold on Despaigne already?
I tell you, they're pitching fine right now.
They are right now,
Yeah.
but I'd say give it the rest of the season to see how they really
yeah, but
do.
who knows? Ian Kennedy had a bad year a couple years ago.
No, I
too,
understand
so,
that, but he was kind of getting into that funk.
I think Ian Kennedy, his value. We talked about trading and signing guys at the top and at the bottom of the value. That's why trading Quentin right now is a bad idea because he's at the lowest point of his value. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, it'll go up.
Right.
I think Ian Kennedy is about at the top, and same with Houston Street.
So let's trade him back to the Cubs for Rizzo.
Both of them are at the top.
That'd be nice. We need a first baseman.
They need pitching. They just traded away 2 guys.
Go back to those guys both have the highest value. I think that we have an opportunity to trade them and actually get something for them.
Another name that I saw being talked about was Seth Smith. And I talked about last week how, that move doesn't make sense to me. And the more I think about it, the more I agree with Darren what he said. Sorry, Terrence.
You want to?
He's probably putting blows back in the chat room.
Oh, he's saying go back to Hawaii, Josh. I can't defend myself in this damn chat room.
Oh man.
But Seth Smith, again, that contract is everything that we've talked about that's wrong with the Padres. You have a guy with a track record of being a 4th outfielder. He has strings together a couple good months, and you pay him, and you extend him at a higher contract.
So
we've talked about this forever. This is what we do wrong.
Yes.
And so I'm saying,
a la Will Venable, a la Nick Hundley, a la Chase Headley.
So let's get. I mean, if somebody wants him, let's get him. Get him off our hands, and with that money that we're going to committing to him next year, let's bring somebody else in with a real track record.
Right. He's the only guy that hits at Petco Park.
I do not get rid of Seth Smith, but I totally agree with you, or disagree with you as well. Will Venable, adios.
Oh, yeah.
His value will never be higher.
Here's the problem, though. You guys are willing to say, hey, let's trade Will Venable. Let's trade Cameron Maben. Let's trade all these fucking clowns that can't hit.
And nobody wants.
You have to get rid of somebody that somebody wants too. I'm on board with you.
Yeah, his value
Mike,
will never be higher.
We're on board right here, Mike.
Not on board with me.
You.
Get them all to the curb.
What I'm looking at is the $15 million next to those garbage players that we can get rid of so we can get somebody else.
But you got to find somebody. Nobody's going to take Cameron Maben.
Yes, they will. You just give him to them. Here you go.
Here's a box of Cheerios.
He makes a great catch once in a while.
Here's what I don't like. I don't like trading Cameron Maben and then the Padres picking up half his salary. If he's going to go somewhere, and that's
you can't just start dumping payroll. I know you got to be smart about it,
right.
But I mean, we're being facetious here. It's hypothetical BS we're talking because we don't really know the true numbers. This is just a rough. We don't know all that stuff,
right?
If you're going to cut ties, we don't know what's his contract and the cutting the ties would cost.
Right.
But yes, but for me, Cameron Maben comes at a cheap price. See you later. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I will get my butler to take you to the airport.
He's actually
You're gone.
not hitting that bad compared to the rest of the team.
I don't
this year,
care.
By the way.
He's terrible.
Okay.
Yeah. He's terrible.
Yeah.
Just like all of the other ones.
Yeah, and then I want to mention here, Tyler in this chat room said San Diego's going to have to find some gems in the minors. And I went through the minor league system, and there's no gem there.
Right.
I mean, so
what are we trading for?
We're trading for for quantity, not even quality. Let's just keep throwing minor guys.
We're trading for coal that we got to hold on to for like 50 years that hopefully turns into a gem.
He says we're going to trade these guys and get 6 or 7 prospects. Maybe one of them pans out. Maybe they don't.
Yeah.
He's basically getting rid of these guys and hoping to find a gem.
Right. We're hoping like.
And one of our 15 GMs that are currently in position right now will be making that stellar decision for us. Kimming.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
Depending on the week.
Yes. Yes. Don't go to her office middle of the month. Do not go there. She's on a strict cycle. All right?
Oh, man.
And the last guy.
You dare knock on that door, young man.
The last guy I've been hearing about is Benoit. and that's back to the Tigers.
As Josh would like to say, Benoit.
Benoit,
Yes, Benoit.
Joaquin Benoit.
Yes.
But no, he's
Yes.
Joking Benoit.
Okay,
Poor guy can't say nothing before the show.
That's great.
so
back to
yeah,
business
so
here.
Benoit.
Got you
You
saying
got
it.
me saying it.
All right.
No, he's going to cost us. I think his
He's going to cost us a lot of wins if we get rid of him. Is what we're going to do.
No.
So
I mean,
stop it.
you
We're
keep
not
Street-
handing him the game with the game in the lead
yeah,
anyways.
we're keeping-
$6 million is what.
We will if we get rid of Street.
We're keeping Street. I'm keeping Street, and I'm getting rid of Benoit.
Okay, Benoit. So for argument's sake,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
let's get to your projected lineup. For argument's sake, explain to us how Pablo Sandoval,
Well, I don't know how
Rajai Davis, and Melky Cabrera come into mix.
Why is Grandal leading off?
It's not a leading off.
I don't
it's by
get it.
position.
Put it in position
What was
order.
it? Jeez,
I'm just kidding. Man, you're really screwing up.
But
over here.
explain to us how you came to that conclusion.
Okay, so what I did was I looked through next year's free agents that are not that don't have a club option next year or any kind of option.
All right.
And looking through the list, I thought getting rid of Headley, we need someone that can come play third base right away. I would love to have Casey McGee from the Marlins,
There you go.
but he has one more year of arbitration. Those bastards. So because he'd come cheap, he's making like $1 million this year. I mean, if you give him $4 million, we got him, for $4 million for a year.
So a rental.
So yeah, well, I mean, for a year,
a
then
pricey
with
rental.
options, But so I looked at the guys and I thought, okay, we need a third baseman that's going to come in right now. The main two that I thought that I would want to see out there were Hanley Ramirez and Pablo Sandoval. I would just pick Sandoval out of the two because he's younger and doesn't have many injuries.
Well, he lost a lot of weight, and now he doesn't hit home runs, so I don't want him anymore.
Well, he's at Petco Park. No
Start
one can
eating
hit home
burgers
runs.
again, bro.
Yeah.
We need you to hit over the fence.
But he still hits it
What's-
over 300, and
Sandoval
we don't
has
have
a-
one of those either.
No.
Sandoval's
you're right.
had a few injury issues the last couple of
Yeah,
years, though,
especially
too,
recently. So
that worries me
Yeah.
a touch.
Well, I think that's why he's lost the weight.
And then,
Okay.
I figured since we're going to get rid of the whole entire outfield pretty much, I still want to have
can.
4 outfielders. So I've always liked Melky Cabrera. You guys
Right.
know that.
Well, I like his first name. It's pretty cool.
I mean, he's still hitting. I think he has like 14 home runs, which would be first on the Padres by far. I
Yeah,
believe.
he double up Seth Smith.
I don't know
Yeah.
if he could.
We'd throw him a parade
If he
every
could
month.
Pop PEDs in the clubhouse, we'd be golden. He had a career year the first half, 2 years ago for San Francisco? Then he kind of fell off the map there for a minute.
Well, he fell off the map because he was suspended.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right.
And I got
And no more PEDs.
Rajai Davis. I think he's one of those money ball guys that you just don't have to pay that much, and he can play any position in the outfield. He's going to hit for average. He has 22 steals this year so far, I believe. So that's pretty good. He'll steal some bases, which we're not doing right now, and he'll come on a pretty cheap contract. So that's those three plus Gavin Floyd for pitching. I know we're getting rid of Kennedy in my scenario. So you get Gavin Floyd, and you have a second or to third starter right there, and you either let Despagne or Hahn stay up, one of the two.
Yeah, because Hahn actually just sent him back down.
Yeah.
But they only sent him down
But
though.
he's on a pitch count.
Yeah, because he was on a pitch count, he's just going to miss one start and come back up. So
Right.
that's not that big of a deal.
So those are my thoughts. But like I said, based on what the research I've done, looking at who's available, like I said, I feel like we can open up by following my true method of success here. We'll open up over $47 million in room from last year's salary to next year.
Well, they can put that into the ballpark in concessions.
And that's not. I'm not even talking about Quinton's contract. If I can unload him before.
Can we have that $47 million now?
Yeah.
No, for next year.
Because as I said in my article talking about the preview of the season past and the season moving forward after the All-Star break, we have to go 49-18 in the last 67 games to get to 90 wins.
Oh, it's a
Over
cinch.
the last 5 years, no wildcard team has made it to the playoffs with with anything less than 88 wins, 90, 91, and 93. So 49-18 over that span. The only team that I can think of in the recent history that's done that is the 2007 Rockies, and we all know how that ends. Matt Holliday still hasn't touched home plate in the 163rd game of the season.
so bitter.
Say it's not unfeasible because it has been done, but it's going to take a lot from our offense. It's going to take guys to start to move back towards their career numbers in the second half for it to happen because we do have the pitching staff.
Well, it's like we posted on our Padres site on Sports Junkies. I put, 3 guys that we really could use back in the lineup, and I know Jerko's been struggling. I know who else? Andrew Kashner's had his injury bug.
Yonder Alonso,
Cabrera, and it's these guys. Even though they're mediocre, they have shown signs of being very good hitters, and we need those guys in the lineup if we're going to do any damage this year, whether they had a bad first half or not.
Something has to change. We're on pace right now to score 474 runs this season, which would be the fewest of any team in the last 45 years.
Yeah.
Only 6 times a team has averaged less than 3 runs a game in a 162-game season. The Padres currently have 279 runs, and they are dead last behind the Cardinals at 360 runs. There's almost a 90-run differential between us and the Cardinals.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
If we had the run production of the Cardinals, who's 29th in Major League Baseball, and it's still disgusting, we would be right there in the mix.
Yeah.
And, well,
That doesn't even make sense.
my thing is...
You know what I mean? No, it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even put that into...
It's hard to fathom.
You can't wrap your brain around.
Yeah.
Because St. Louis is only a game out right now in the wild
90
card.
runs lower than the second to worst last team.
Yeah.
What?
We would have to score 90 runs next game, and they would have to be shut out so we get tied with them.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, that's part of my thing, Josh, is that this season's over. You have to just be realistic.
No, it's not. There's
so
a second
hard to-
half.
It's so hard to let go. Though.
I know, but
It's
you
so
have
hard
to.
to let go.
That'd be
for
like
the good
saying-
franchise. And here, you know.
And I'm not ready to, by the way.
Yeah.
Yet. I'm just not ready.
But
to.
you saw the number. Was it 48 and 19?
Yeah.
I
Let's do it.
I
49
it.
and 18. 49 and 18.
Let's do it.
I wish we could do
Major
like-
League style. Let's put all the little pieces on the naked girl, and we'll
Yes.
peel them off for every win. This is how many wins we need. I don't know if
48.
everybody saw that movie.
So
Rub,
yeah, of
rub the
course.
bat with the underwear.
Yeah.
Get whatever you need to do.
Kill a chicken.
Get the panties out. Do what you got to do, bro. Like,
But,
make it happen.
So for me, you just got to end the season, start planning for next year. And I know Darren here in the chat room said Renfroe should be ready here soon. No, actually, Darren, I don't think so. He's batting .212 in Double-A right now. I don't see. He still has to go up to AAA and show that he can bat in Double and AAA before he's here.
Yeah,
so.
Justin and I were talking about that, and as much as I would love to have him up here because I think the sky's the limit with the kid. If he needs to work out some kinks still in the minor leagues before we bring him up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could see probably where Darren's coming from. What do you have to lose?
Right.
What do you have to lose? But in this case, I think he needs to iron out his kinks. Chances are this is going to be a nothing season by year's end. So. Get his at-bats down in the minor league system.
And let me get one more thing. He also said that you have to overpay to bring all these guys that we mentioned. And sure enough, with $47 million, bringing in 4 guys, Rajay Davis making $2 million, Pablo Sandoval's making $8 million, Gavin Floyd $4 million, and Melky Cabrera about $8 million as well. If you pay them 50% more, we'll still fight under that $47 million.
Still be able to fit them in.
Yeah.
Guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking some Chargers football. Brandon Flowers says he's the best corner in the NFL and got a tattoo to back it up. We're going to talk some training camp storylines, and we got your questions that we're going to break down just after the break.
What's up, you sports freaks of the West Coast? This is your fantasy corner of San Diego Sports Junkies. I'm your host, Steve-O, and I want to challenge you to win your fantasy football season this year. So tune in weekly, starting in August, for some preseason sleepers, draft day steals and busts, some new draft value on the usual suspects, and my personal mock draft strategy that's going to carry you through your season and leave your buddies crying in that draft room. So please, don't miss your chance to tune in weekly and add some of your fantasy football smack talk to your corner of San Diego Sports Junkies.com/fantasy. Get some.
You can't get me down. There's nothing like a clear peace of mind to overcome the hardships in life. Just sort out the wrong from the right. Someone's in line, but they can't get me down. Got my own self by my side. And mentally we got.
Do you need help with your business project that is due? Maybe you need business cards to help your business stand out. We at San Diego Sports Junkies got you covered. SK Digital Imaging can do it all. Give our buddy Sean K a call, 858-408-0732. SK Digital Imaging, From business cards to the bigger projects, SK Digital Imaging and our buddy Sean K will get your printing done right.
All right, guys, we are back. Darren, just want to let you know, if you do shout out some music, we will play it. Thrice, Artist in the Ambulance. I have to say, back in 2003, I came back from the Chargers-Bears game in Chicago, and Darren surprised me with tickets to a Thrice concert. That was pretty awesome. That was one of my
so how was your day?
Highlights of my younger
fun?
years.
Right on.
It was awesome, man.
Good. Did you smoke a bowl or something?
No.
What'd you guys
Nothing
do?
like that.
No hippiness?
Got a little mosh pit going on, but,
There you
know.
go. Have a beer or two?
Nothing too crazy.
Couple brews?
No bruise.
Or did you get a bruise in the mosh pit?
Nice.
Nice, all right.
So we're going to talk about a little bit of Brandon Flowers. Just recently, actually just before the show, we came up with an article and an audio of Brandon Flowers that he says he is the best corner in the NFL, and he went to a tattoo parlor and got a tattoo to back that up. This audio is courtesy of Buzzer and Fox Sports. We're going to play this clip really quick, and we'll talk about it.
I like Darrell Regis. I like Patrick Peterson. I like Aqib Talib, Joe Hayden. There's a lot of guys that can play in the league that don't get enough credit that they should, but there's a lot of guys that can play out there.
What makes you the best corner in the league?
Because I do it all. I just don't play the outside. I can play outside. I can play the slide. I can do whatever the coach need me to do on the field, whatever my team need me to do on the field. Not a lot of guys can do that.
What do you think? It's all done.
I love it, man. My man Mojo got me with a flawless tat out here in L.A. I definitely appreciate it, man.
Okay, well, there you go. Brandon.
So Brandon Flowers, the best corner in the NFL, quote unquote. What do you guys think about that?
Hey, I like it. I think it brings a little swag to the Chargers. We talked about this when he first signed. I like guys with a little attitude, little feistiness. We haven't had that in a while. I think that swaggerness to your defense. Now, if he provides that, we haven't seen that yet. Maybe all this talk will help him play on the field. Let's hope. Like we said, huge upgrade for the Chargers. And, I like the cockiness a little bit. It brings a little bit of a character to our defense.
Yeah, he's something that we've been lacking on our defense, that's for sure. I just want to see him back it up.
Yeah,
That's
back
the
it
only
up.
thing I care about is just back it up.
Yeah, you can talk it, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm agree with you, Jason. You got to back it up. I mean, he's done it since he's got here, and I love it, and I love the swagger. But at some point, it's like the talking needs to be backed up by the play.
Yes,
so.
Absolutely. Training camp's right around the corner. This Thursday, actually, the Chargers will be opening up their first training camp to the public. And there's some, enticing storylines, and I'm going to let Mike run through a couple of these.
Yeah, so we're going to look at I just kind of want to get you guys' opinion. We're going to be writing an article on the website, on the blog, 5 storylines to watch. I know I have my 5, and I'm going to start with my first one, and then I'll get your guys' opinion on what you think the biggest storyline or biggest story in camp's going to be. For me, I want to see how does Donald Brown fit into the running back core. Are you going to have him timeshare with Matthews? Is he going to fill that Ronnie Brown role? Are you going to take some touches away from Woodhead? How exactly is he going to fit in that role? And that's what I'm curious to see.
For me, I think can Keenan Allen fill the number 1 receiver position? Can he step up and continue to improve on what he did last season and become that number 1 wide receiver? Or will he take a step back with, knock on wood, Malcolm Floyd coming back? Will he take a step back and just be that number 2 guy?
For me, it's injuries. Injuries.
I should have went.
It's funny. Justin and I are pointing at each other. Who's going next? So I'm happy that I jumped in there. Injuries. Fine. I'm really worried about. Last year we lost some key guys early, and every team has injuries. You always have a guy that you lose in training camp. Let's hope that it's not one of our main guys that we're expecting to contribute, and that is going to be one of the main things to look for me.
Yeah, totally agree. Injuries is my big thing going into camp. Stories for us. Will the linebacking corps actually play together for a full preseason, get to know each other? Melvin Ingram wasn't there at the beginning. Manti Te'o was kind of, him and Han, because he was a rookie still, finally picked it up at the end, still was suffering from a foot injury. A lot of pieces didn't really come together till late in the season, which was great to see. But yes, this year with Dwight Freeney back healthy off the edge, we're going to have a lot of multiple defensive fronts that John Pagano is going to have for offenses all around the league. So very stoked about what our defensive possibilities can be. And I think it's health mostly on the defensive side, in my opinion. Defense stays healthy. I think defense can take us as far as the playoffs, and we'll see after that. We got the franchise quarterback, and we'll have to put it in his hands.
And this training camp, we're going to see, we're going to learn about the team and the coaching staff. And we have a question from Twitter from the Return of Bad, a.k.a. the Raider Hater.
The Raider Hater.
And he says, will the loss of Ken Wisenhunt have a big impact on the Chargers' offense? What do you guys think?
For me, I'll go real quick. I don't think it's a huge loss. I think he implemented his scheme last year, gave it to a real smart guy in Frank Reich, and I enjoy Frank Reich. I think he's going to be a very good offensive coordinator with Phillip Rivers, so I don't think we skip a beat. I think they add some new wrinkles this year, obviously, and I think it kind of keeps the drum going here.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree. I think they're going to take a little bit out of Wisenhunt's book. Mike McCoy's brought some stuff, Peyton Manning type plays and schemes. And then obviously Frank Reich and Rivers had a really good relationship.
Right.
He's arguably one of the guys that helped Phillip Rivers, quote unquote, turn himself around. We don't think he was really lost, but he did help turn him around. And I think that relationship's only going to get better. So I think all good things with him at the offensive coordinator helm.
Yeah, I think actually it's going to have hardly any impact at all. I think a lot of the offensive success was actually from Mike McCoy.
Right.
Not that Wisenhunt wasn't part of that, but I think a lot of it was from Mike McCoy. I think Frank Reich is a great young mind, and I actually think our offense is going to take another big step forward, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
agreed.
I think you guys said it all, and I have to agree with you guys. I mean, it's
about time, okay?
Yeah, I know. Finally, you guys said something
right.
that I can agree
that you
with.
approve of.
Yeah,
right?
it's approved.
Come on, Ace. Give some approval.
So, no, I mean, there's going to be some good continuity this season, and I think we'll be fine.
I think some other things that I'm interested in seeing is the re-emergence of Jaleel Adai. Can he take that role at the safety position? Can he be that guy? He wants to be that guy. He needs to prove it. He did play well at the back half of last year. Can he come into training camp and really take over that role? Can he really assert himself in that position going into
He'll have
preseason?
his opportunity this year because there's a lot of competition out there. I mean, that secondary group's going to be fun to watch this preseason.
One thing that we need to remember is last season he came into training camp as undrafted.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't ask him to do too much. What they asked him to do, he did well. So he ended up making the team. Every time they asked him to do something, he was able to do it. This training camp is going to be different. He's coming into this training camp with expectations. They're going to throw a lot more stuff at him, and he's going to really have to show that he's willing and able to take that on and to make that next step. Because if he doesn't improve from year 1 to year 2, he's not going to start. No. They're not going to have him out there starting. He can't be a liability. No. And they're going to be asking him to do a lot more. Even at the end of last year, we saw he still was not asked to do the same thing that Marcus Gilchrist was asked to do. There was different expectations. What they asked him to do, he did very well. But
this would be his obviously his year to grow and make sure he's studying everything he can.
Yes.
So.
And as far as fan expectations, Ryan Carruthers, I think, is going to have some expectations coming into these training camps, as well as Jerry Atauchu. I think he is going to have some expectations as well.
What an uplift he might be. Jeez.
I'll tell you what, Carruthers, I'm hoping and I believe and I hope that Mike is way wrong on this guy. I know Mike hasn't been very high on him. I really, really have some high expectations from him, and I think he's going to have a real solid season.
I agree with you. I think he's a fifth-round pick, but you know what? He was kind of one of those under-the-radar type of guys.
Yeah.
I like the pick, and he'll have his opportunities, just like a lot of these guys for key spots. So to plug that middle, it'll be ripe for the pickings for him.
And I can't wait to go to training camp because there's always a guy
that stands out.
I mean, you just know. I remember
Jerry Atauchi will do that. I guarantee you.
There's gonna be a guy. I mean, I remember long ago. I can't remember. It was like maybe at least 10 years ago, at least. I remember watching a young Eric Parker outwork every single person, and I
really like.
He became my favorite player at training camp because he outworked everybody. I asked him for his autograph, and he's like, "Me? Like me?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, you killed it today."
Yeah.
And he killed it every single day at training camp, and I can't wait to see who that guy is.
Yeah.
He's like, "But I had to bring in the pads for all the guys. Why do you want my autograph?"
I think he was number 13 that day.
Yeah.
Really?
That's what number they gave him.
He was 88 when he.
Before he got his real number.
EP, baby. I miss EP.
Yeah. I'll be curious. I think there is going to be a battle. I know Brandon Flowers says he's the best cornerback in the NFL, but I think Jason Verrett wants to prove himself. I think there's going to be a little battle there. Who's going to be one? Who's going to be two? Obviously Brandon Flowers has earned the right to be number one.
Right.
But if Jason Verrett comes in and outplays him, I think that's going to be enticing.
Richard Marshall too. I think it's Richard Marshall, right?
Yep.
Am I saying that right? I don't want to get it mixed up with Richard Sherman. I always say this too.
I know you do.
I don't mean to. He's not a guy high on my radar, but he did play better last season at the end.
Yes.
I'm not going to praise him or anything, but he has a chance too to step in there because he has experience in defense. So, dude, secondary is going to be key this preseason. We're going to see some really great battles.
Yes.
It's going to be awesome.
And what about the offensive line? There's still questions to be had with our offensive line. I'm curious to see, does Clary come on board, or who fills that role?
Yeah, more and more looking like he's staying. So
the offensive line to me is the one part of the Chargers that still doesn't quite have the depth that I'm comfortable with. Mm-hmm. I've been really happy with Telesco. We keep saying it over and over again. Last year at this time, we were really complaining about lack of depth. He's really filled that depth. Mm-hmm. Offensive line, he did re-sign a couple guys that for depth, but I'm still really nervous about the offensive line depth. And if we get a big injury to a tackle, we are in some deep crap.
Yep. I remember a few shows back, or even like a preview show, we talked depth and what they had to do in the draft, and what did he do? He got some extra players for us. That doesn't mean we're going to be great.
Right.
We're not going to sit there and go, well, we're good now. We got all we need.
I also heard that Watt was working at center as well.
They're going to rotate him. Yeah. You know that. They have him rotate every position.
Yeah, no, I mean, we'll see. Like, there's a lot of things to look forward to, and I know I'll be going to training camp. You guys come in?
We're going to Fan Fest. I think we're going to try and broadcast
to do a show there. So once we find out for sure, we'll start plugging it out there.
And everybody come out there. Come. We'll let you know when we're out there. Come say what's
up.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'll be the good-looking guy with the beard,
nice.
And I'll have the three other guys with me. So
it might be two. I do have to work. I don't know if I'll be able to get that off, being that I just came back from 3 weeks.
You're going to be
sick. Yeah, just like you're supposed to be sick this coming Thursday for training camp.
Yes, you're right.
But there was one further question. I'm assuming we're done talking Chargers.
Yeah, definitely.
There's one question that was brought up to me. And I really had to think about it. I actually had to research it because Justin actually guessed it. But who was the last Padre to hit in the home run derby, and how many home runs did he hit? I honestly had to do some research. I completely forgot that Adrian Gonzalez hit in the home run derby.
I didn't remember any of these guys hitting in the home run derby. Although, now
you can hardly say hit. You can hardly say hit.
Yeah. Does anybody give two shits about the home run derby anymore?
Nope.
Oh my God! I didn't watch it, and
I watched some of it because nothing else was on.
1 second of it.
What am I going to watch? CNN?
Everybody who did watch it said how boring it was.
Yes, it was.
And then Berman back.
I heard he dialed it back a little.
He
bit.
did. He didn't. He wasn't as obnoxious. I did notice that.
Well, he didn't have as many home runs to call either.
Yeah.
And he probably didn't do a line of coke before.
Anybody
he got
have a? I'm going way off subject here, but anybody have a way to fix that? Anybody have a way to make it?
You're
more
not off
interesting?
subject. I mean, that's a great topic. No.
Well,
actually,
I kind of liked
moving targets. I'm serious. Moving targets.
Darren suggested
a skilled hitting competition.
Putting up giant targets and giving points for hitting
like
those.
Painted balls. Just weird stuff. Like make it cool. Put trucks out there so they can get bashed on.
What about this? I've heard this brought up before. Now I think it might mess some guys up. But what about aluminum bats?
Might as well just give
In
him
the
a
home
wiffle
run
ball
derby.
No,
Give
for
him
the
a
home run
wiffle ball
derby.
with
Yeah.
that.
No, for the home run derby. You
Stanton
know?
almost already hit it out of the park.
Right.
He would have easily hit it out of the park with a metal bat.
I mean, nobody thinks I would.
Just the fans in the first
I think it's
18 rows are
I
going
think
to
that-
have to wear some protective gear because they might get killed.
See, I don't
think
think the
that
problem
ping
is the
noise
lack
would-
of home runs. I think that it's just how long the dang thing takes. You know, it's
Well,
it's
they did
kind
cut
of
it down
exciting,
this
and
year.
It's still too
Yeah,
long.
Seven
so it was
outs.
forever. I
It's
saw my
so
Twitter
moves
timeline
too
for an
slow.
hour.
And
It
then,
was just-
so Yasiel Puig still went over 27. That's hilarious.
That was awesome.
That was
No,
great.
yeah, I was thinking about it, and it was such a great event. It's kind of like the NBA dunk contest. I think you just gotta get rid of these, this drafting players to come play in your team. This, hey, you got a first round bye if you finish in the top 2 or whatever that nonsense was. Let's just go top 4 guys. Get all the big guys saying, you know what, I'm going to give you $100,000. Go hit the shit out of some balls, man.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing, and you kind of hit it on the head, and I think we talked about it last week, is having the big guns. I mean, Frazier, was that his name from the Reds? Like, seriously? He hit 3 home runs or 4 home runs in the last 3 rounds and still advanced somehow.
Yeah.
I mean,
what if you just took
Stanton goes 0 for 7. Who would have ever guessed that?
Right.
And Frazier advances with 1 home run.
And Darren agrees with you guys. He says the best part was the goose egg by Puig.
Yes.
And then to follow that up with an 0 for 3
Yeah.
in the All-Star
Yeah.
game.
Looking silly, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
what if they just took 1 or like 2 guys or 4 guys, and that was it? They played 2 rounds, total home runs
No.
is all you added up, and that was the winner.
Maybe just light some balls on fire and throw
Okay.
them at him. No, I'm serious. Let's do something,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just needs it needs to be spoofed up a little
Yeah.
bit. You know what I'm saying?
Anyways, we didn't even say who we said
So,
Adrian Gonzalez. but
Adrian
who else?
Gonzalez in 2009, he had 2 home runs.
Way to represent Adrian.
Then it went back all the way to 1992 with Gary Sheffield and Fred McGriff.
Oh, the crime dog.
Sheffield
crime dog.
finished 3rd with 4 home runs. Fred McGriff with 3.
Oh, they weren't
and
Jason
then
that year.
the Wayback Machine, probably when Jason was in high school, 1985. Steve Garvey
I'm
with
a
2
man.
home
I'm
runs.
40.
That's when I was born in 1985.
Oh my
Are you
god!
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably before this All-Star
I
game.
was 12.
Nice. Yeah.
That
was
1985.
1985.
Year I was
2 home
date
runs.
of birth.
That's so sad. The most is 4.
Yeah.
4.
4.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've only had 4 guys in the home run
Where's
derby.
the question? Where'd Greg Vaughn go? Did he ever not get?
Yeah,
he could.
He was. The thing is, where Vaughn is, he always hit for really low average here. He hit like 220.
Yeah.
Like
He
he fit in
crushed.
perfectly.
Who cares?
Had
He hit 50
home runs.
homers.
He said
Yeah.
50
I'll take
bombs.
I'll take 5 of those guys right now, please.
I agree.
I'll just take the whole 98 team back.
Yeah.
Right?
You're right though. Greg Vaughn and Joe Carter. Neither one
Carter,
of them
yeah.
were in the home run contest. That's interesting.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
So, guys, we appreciate you joining in the show. Thanks for your questions in the chat room, Darren and Tyler especially. Want to shout out the Raider Hater for your questions as well. He's at the Return of Bad, a.k.a. the Raider Hater, as a lot of people know him. Guys, as always, feel free to go to the website, SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com. Check out our blog. You can voice your opinion on there. You write the article, we'll put it up within 24 hours. Sign up is free and easy, guys. So
New updates
New
daily.
update. Chargers website, Padres website,
Fantasy.
Aztec men's basketball website. We have now a fantasy site, the Fantasy Corner. You can follow them on Twitter at Fantasy Corner 17. There's a lot of cool new things coming this way, guys. So stay tuned. Keep following.
Next
keep,
week.
providing questions.
Next week, too, 5:30 p.m., we'll have Steve-O and Bramley promised to be here for their first show, previewing
Nice.
fantasy football and all the entire landscape, going over studs, duds, sleepers. So stay tuned for that, and just keep following us, man. Go to the site, check us out.
All right, guys. This is San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans.
By the fans.
And we are out.
Take
Bye.
care.
This time I'ma let it all come out. This time I'ma stand up and shout. I'ma do things my way. It's my way or the highway. Check out.
Thank you for following the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans. With Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, and Jason Eidsmo, we want you to subscribe to us on iTunes, follow us on Spreaker, and like us on Facebook. Also visit our website, SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com. This is brought to you by SK Digital Imaging and SDforlife.net. San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans.